Yo, what's up guys? This is Technical Tim here, and I'm here just to recap UFC 237. If you're kind of new to the channel, first of all, I'd really appreciate if you guys liked this video and gave the video a thumbs up, like I just said, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if next week, or even on this video, but also next week on any of my previews, if I get 60 likes on one video, I'll give all my picks for free and all my props and everything. Last week I said I was going to go to live if one video got 50. I didn't get any that got 50, but I still went, I didn't go live, but I still sent my final thoughts video and gave away all my picks because we were close to 50, so I figured I'd do it. But this time I really want 60. If I don't get 60, I'm not going to do it next time. I just want to... It just helps the channel grow, guys, just so I'm like kind of talking to more people. So that's it. So I just appreciate a thumbs up. That's all I'm saying. Not trying to beg, just it would be nice. But yeah, so UFC 237, I had a good night. I risked 5. Tracked, I risked 5. Usually my untracked and tracked bets are very similar, but if I get a really good line on somebody early in the week, I don't track it. So I can sometimes like do better or worse untracked, but I tend to do a little better untracked because I usually get really good lines that get hit later. And I just know that I can't track it because anyone buying my picks on like Saturday before the card, I don't want them to like buy a bunch of picks with stale lines. So most of my lines that whenever you buy my picks are pretty close to the closing line. Like people can kind of vouch for me for that. I try to be ethical on that. But anyway, I hit 5 units tracked, only risking 5. So I think we got over 100% ROI on that one. Then untracked, I won like a lot more. And I'll kind of go through and tell you some of the bets I hit. Some of my live bets were fucking insane that I hit, but I'll kind of go through. I think monetarily, like untracked, this is the most I've made all year. So I'm pretty pumped. But like I said, guys, remember April is a losing month. It's my first losing month for a long time. And in the last 2 events, we're already profitable. If you like, we already made it back and now we're profitable. So it's like, I told you in the long term, I'll eventually win you guys cash, and we just have to stay patient, think through picks, and we'll be cool. But anyway, if you're new to this, these recap videos, I just kind of go through each fight and I'll go a little bit through technique, but I mostly talk about it from a betting perspective, what I was thinking before the fight and kind of what I was thinking after the fight and how it played out. But first fight of the night was Viviane Araujo and Talita Bernardo. In my final thoughts video, I mentioned that I was thinking about playing Araujo, and if I did, I'd go small, but I didn't. I kind of said lay off, but then if you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted out after the video I uploaded that I played a half unit on Araujo at plus 250, and that cashed. And so if you bought my picks, you got that pick, so because I tracked that play. So that cashed, and yeah, it pretty much went how I expected on the feet, and I expected her to get offensive wrestling going. I just didn't know if she had takedown defense, or else I would have gone a lot heavier. And I just felt like they were kind of using the Talita Bernardo line from the last opponent they had, and they were just like, let's just make her a big favorite again. And I think the bookies got lazy because I was watching tape and I was like, even if she can like get takedowns, she's at a huge disadvantage standing, so why not take a shot on Araujo? And it paid off, so I'm pumped about that. Barcelos Quiroz, I didn't play it. I expected Barcelos to kind of own like that, although he probably should have tried to wrestle earlier, and because it was a mismatch on the floor. I expected inside the distance for Barcelos, but didn't play anything there. Fun little fight, not bad. Carolina Cachoeira, I didn't play this fight. I expected Carolina to win, but I was a little worried because she was a little unproven, and Cachoeira will at least move forward and throw a lot, but I thought she was going to be a little too hittable here. Also thought, even though I'd never seen anything from Carolina's ground game, Cachoeira is truly a white belt beginner on the mat, and I expected Carolina just because she had a blue belt, even though I hadn't seen anything. I thought she would be a little better down there too, and it kind of seemed like she was a little bit, but I didn't play the fight. I didn't have strong opinions on it. Pen Guida, I untracked and tweeted this out. I didn't track this, but I untracked the over 1.5 rounds at like minus 140 or something. So I played that and hit that. Played that untracked. If you guys watch these videos, you should follow me on Twitter too. And I'm not just saying that to get more Twitter followers. It's just sometimes I'll like tell you other plays and things. It will just help you guys. But I didn't track that play, but I untracked, hit the over there. So that was nice. Moraes Alves, I was going back and forth. On the final thoughts video, I mentioned that I was maybe leaning Moraes, but wasn't really sure. Then I tweeted out before the fight I was leaning Alves a little bit, but wasn't really sure. But I definitely didn't expect that big of a beatdown, and Alves just ate him up with kicks. I do feel if Moraes would have pressured more, I think he could have had more success, but Alves just fucked him up. I didn't fully expect that, to be quite honest. So I'm glad I stayed away, because something I totally didn't expect happened. So it showed I didn't have a great read on the fight, and I didn't think I had a good read anyway. So I'll gladly stay away. Moises Halaba, I thought I was leaning Moises, but I thought it was like a close fight, and I did think that fight ended up being close. Halaba showed like he could have moments of success on the feet, but I expected Moises' double leg to work, and he's got a good little double leg for a Brazilian guy. I'm kind of a condescending asshole when it comes to wrestling. I try not to be, but sometimes I'll kind of like look down upon some of the takedown attempts in the UFC where some of the Brazilian guys just like, I don't understand how they can be on mats their whole life and just not learn takedowns. I mean, it's because usually in jiu-jitsu schools you start from your knees. I feel like modernized jiu-jitsu, they'll drill takedowns a little more, but not always. But Moises is one of those Brazilians who actually has some good wrestling, so that's cool to see. If Brazilians train wrestling more, man, they'd be really good. Nogueira Spann, this was my only loss of the entire night, tracked or untracked. I was on Nogueira, and I try to be objective here, guys, and I'm going to talk about a pick I did later that I thought was a bad play, even though it cashed. I try to be very fair here. Nogueira Spann, I actually have no regret playing Nogueira. I think Spann isn't really that good of a striker, and he doesn't even have all that much power. And especially after like a couple minutes, and I thought Nogueira was kind of walking him down and landing some big shots, and Spann looked super uncomfortable. Like it wasn't some beautiful combination he landed to get that knockout. It was just kind of random, and like he was like turtling up, like kind of just putting his hands up, protecting himself, getting hit, moving backwards, and then he just kind of landed a punch, and I think Nog was on his way to winning that fight. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because I picked Nog. Like, it's MMA, and like shit can happen, like totally. But I really thought Nog was on his way. Like, I thought he was the better round winner, and I thought he was going to get a finish, and I thought he was on his way to winning, and Spann just kind of randomly got a KO, and it was a win condition for Spann, like definitely landing a big shot, but I thought it was weird the way it happened because he did not look comfortable on the feet. He really didn't. And I need to watch the finishing sequence again, but whenever I was watching it live, I was like, no fucking way, man, because I thought Nog was smooth sailing, to be completely honest. And moving on to the next fight, I'm trying to be objective there. I really think Nog was the right side there, but Aldana Correa, this was a fight. I had Aldana in a couple parlays, and clearly this was a bad pick. I do think the commentary and the striking numbers were like a little biased because Aldana was landing a lot of clean jabs, and they keep mentioning significant strikes, and the significant strikes don't take into account jabs. And I do think like Aldana, I thought clearly won round one, and I thought I gave round two to Beth, but I just thought like the commentators and even just like the striking stats kind of were painting a little bit of a different picture. Like in the third round, I thought it was like Aldana was winning the third round, and then Beth started having some success, but it wasn't like, I just felt like the commentary was kind of like acting as if Correa was winning the fight easily, and I didn't see it that way. Like I thought Aldana was actually winning. But it was close, and Correa could have rallied and won that third round, and that third round was still up for grabs. But I just thought it was kind of weird, and I really thought Aldana won the first round much wider than Correa won the second round. But nonetheless, I hit Aldana in the minus 300s as a parlay leg, and clearly that was a bad play. I didn't think Correa. I thought Aldana did tag her a lot. Like, let's be real. And she even hurt Beth a lot. But I didn't think Beth would be able to land that overhand. Like, she likes to throw that a lot. And she kept landing it, like, consistently. And I just didn't anticipate that. I do think if Aldana would have thrown more leg kicks, she could have, like, scored a lot more points and maybe destabilized Correa's movement a little more. But, like, obviously it was a bad pick. And I think I lucked out for sure. Like I wouldn't say I lucked out, because I do think Aldana could have still won the fight, but just with the implied percentages around like 70-something%, it didn't look like Aldana wins that fight 7 to 8 times out of 10. I think it's a little closer than that. So that was a bad pick, but I still do think Nog, I would pick Lil Nog going forward after seeing that fight, if that makes sense. So sometimes you're going to win some fights where you made bad picks. Sometimes you're going to lose some fights where you make some good picks. It just kind of evens out in the end. This year, I've had a few picks I've won that I probably made a bad pick, and I've lost many where I thought I made a good pick. So it just kind of is what it is. That's just this game. It's going to happen whenever you bet a lot of MMA. Next fight, Alves Staropoli. I'm glad I stayed away. I had mentioned... I previewed this fight in detail. I mentioned the output scares me if you want to bet Alves. Like, Staropoli throws more, and he kind of tended to be busier. And I think if Alves would have just stuck to leg kicks and been a little more active, I feel like he could have won this fight still. So I still think the lines were about right. Like, I thought it should be pretty close to even. But I think people were too confident in Thiago Alves going in this fight. He was a popular pick. A lot of people were playing him. And I disagreed because, and they were doing the take the UFC veteran over the Staropoli's still basically a newcomer, not anymore, but they were kind of doing that logic, take the UFC veteran over the unproven fighter, and I'm totally for that if you have depth to your game, because then you can expose that fighter. You have more ways to expose that fighter, the unproven fighter. And Alves just kind of will accept a striking fight. And that was something I thought Staropoli could do and compete well. And I thought he had an output advantage. But with the judges, and I still think Alves can win that fight. But I just think it was like a closely lined fight and something to not fuck around with. So, yeah, I stayed away. Next fight, Aldo Volkanovski. I hit Volkanovski. It went how I expected. I'm not saying that in hindsight. In my final thoughts video, I mentioned how Volkanovski throws way more output, and I thought he was going to be the busier fighter, and that's exactly what happened. I think I've been skeptical about Aldo for a couple fights now. Like, no disrespect to Jose Aldo. I think he's the best featherweight of all time, and I think he is an amazing fighter, and he's still a really good fighter. But if you look at his career, he actually doesn't get knockouts all that often. Like, he's had some, like Chad Mendez. Like, I'm talking about, like, Aldo kind of during his title reign. He really doesn't get all that many KOs. And I kind of thought he was a little KO or bust here. And I don't think he really showed, like, all that many KOs throughout his career until recently. He KO'd Moicano, and he KO'd Stevens. And, like, I think the recency, like, Aldo's still a KO threat. I'm just saying, because he had 2 in a row, I think the recency bias of the KO threat kind of made him the favorite in a fight he shouldn't have been favored on, because if he doesn't get the KO here, he's going to get outvolumed, and that's what happens. And like, I know my expertise is in wrestling, but I'm a very profitable capper when it comes to striking too. And I don't come from a striking background, but I'm telling you, output matters so much. it just does. Because, I mean, even look at, like, Thiago Alves and Staropoli. Like, Staropoli just won because it was the output battle. And here tonight, Aldo Volkanovski, like, all the striking fanatics will say Aldo's a way better striker. But if you're not throwing, it doesn't matter. So output means a lot, man. And it can be kind of a shortcut. Like, you can't get that shortcut in grappling. Like, grappling, you have to go by tape. You can't go by numbers. I always talk about in Fight Metric, grappling effectiveness cannot be measured on Fight Metric and with stats, but grappling willingness can, and that's it. So just coming from a grappling background, it's nice because I can spot a lot of things people can't see on tape. And just having the understanding that although I don't know everything about striking, numbers can help you a lot. And it gave me an easy win here. He won 30-27 Volkanovski, and I expected him to win a clear decision. And I wasn't that vocal about it with a lot of people because a lot of people who I converse with on MMA were all on Aldo, and sometimes I just don't feel like arguing with them. But I expected Volkanovski to win. I would have gone much heavier on him if it wasn't in Brazil, too. And like I said, I expected his jab and his leg kicks, like I said in my Final Thoughts video, to give him some moments and to score points for him. And that's what happened here. So I was proud of that pick because I thought Volkanovski was the value side going in, and I think he proved to be. And also Aldo kind of did the same thing versus Moicano until the knockout. He wasn't doing anything and he was getting out-volumed. And Volkanovski's someone who, if you're not throwing volume, he will be. So he'll just be racking up points. Next fight, Cannonier Silva. Didn't play it. Just like, I don't think, like, people I saw some people on Twitter saying Cannonier got lucky. I get if there's an injury by, like, no contact. Like, if you're just, like, striking and someone just blows out their ACL by just, like, moving. But this was, like, a legitimate hard leg kick, and he had landed a lot. I know, like, a leg kick's not going to make you go down like that all the time. So I see where it's, like, something you can't reliably do, but he still earned it. Like, that was, he was chopping down those legs and causing damage. So, good win for him. The crowd was being bunch of assholes to him. Felt bad for him. Next fight of the night, Andrade Namajunas, and I'm not gonna. So I played Andrade, and so I expected early success for Rose. I expected her to piece up Andrade early, and I told you, Namajunas, she gets tagged going backwards, and even though she was beating Andrade to the punch early, it was going towards Andrade's favor, and I played Andrade here. I also hit Andrade plus 375 after round one, and it hit two, and I was very confident after round one that we were totally fine in that fight. And I say that with a straight face. Everyone I was watching it with, I was telling them, they're not really MMA people. I was telling them what was going on. I was like, if Rose doesn't put her away, she just spent a lot of energy throwing jabs and backing up and defending takedowns and going for submissions. And I saw the tide turning. Like, I saw it. And even that second round, I thought Andrade was starting to win that round. And people were saying, like, the slam was kind of lucky. It got her out of there. But the pressure was getting to Rose. And eventually that slam is going to be a takedown with Andrade on top position. And she has a way superior gas tank. So I think just, like, Rose was going to always win early. And Andrade was eventually going to turn the tide and then smash her late, in my opinion. Some people seem to think Andrade got a little lucky there. I don't at all. That's how I expected it. Did Rose land some bigger shots than I expected? Yeah, like she kind of like, but not really. Like I expected her to tag her with her straight punches early. Like, she has the range, and she's a good precision striker. But yeah. Anyway, Andrade hit. So every bet hit tonight, except the Nog one. So we won big tonight, and that's really all I have to say. Good night. I'm glad people who bought my picks cashed out again, and we'll keep it going. And I'll be sending out preview videos for next week as well. And also I had Pitbull for an upset too, and so that cashed too. Untracked, but thanks guys. Have a good one. Bye.